Good morning. My name is Gene Langell, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the morning service of the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. As one of the last things to do this year, please silence any electronic devices in your possession. Thank you. On this, the penultimate, or next to the last day of 2012, I would like to share with you this greeting from Ann Landers concerning the arrival of the new year. Let this coming year be better than all the others. Vow to do some things you've always wanted to do but couldn't find the time. Call up a forgotten friend, drop an old grudge, and replace it with some pleasant memories. Vow to make a promise you don't think you can keep. Walk tall and smile more. You'll look 10 years younger. Don't be afraid to say, I love you. Say it again. They are the sweetest words in the world. Now at this time, share some good words with all of those around you. Once again, good morning. May I now direct your attention to Bodie, our music director, who will lead us in the morning chant, after which, followed by Karyl with the morning prayer. Thank you. Bodie.
that most of you know that our beloved Melanie passed on Christmas Eve morning. And so she is here, right here. And I have another announcement for you, and that is that our beloved Bob Plath broke his femur on Friday, had surgery on Saturday, and is currently in Marin General. And then we'll be going to, the surgery went great. And so I'm going to include those two beloveds in our opening prayer, okay? So if you would just join with me and know with me that the infinite presence, the power, the glory, the law, the love of the maker of all is all there is. There is that pattern, that divine pattern that connects everything, and everything is within the pattern. Everything that we can see and everything that we can't see, all the people, all the relationships, all the other living things, all of everything that we can see and touch and imagine, and all that we can't, all that exists is holy, divine, sacred, purposeful, connected, sharing in those divine qualities of beauty, peace, and order. And I am that. I am part of all of it because I'm here, and there's no place else to be but inside God, and God inside me. And I know the same thing for everyone here, and I surely know the same for Melanie. Because although Melanie has changed form and has let go of that beautiful body that we had been hugged by and has been spoken through on our behalf, the essence of Melanie is as alive and vibrant now as she ever was. Feeling her presence right here, right now, is a comfort for us, as we know we will not look into her eyes again, but we can look into her soul. And I speak this word as well for our beloved Bob Plath, who has given his life for the concept of forgiveness. And in his name today, if there is anything that I have to forgive, I do it because Bob is in the world standing for forgiveness. I claim healing for him and comfort and love. Love in the form of healing hands, love in the form of comfort and friendship and company, love in the form of right decision moving forward. And then I speak my word for anyone here who has something heavy on their heart. I invite that thing to be given up into this space that is already so full of love, so full of God, so full of goodness, that the blessings are sure to follow, no matter what is here in present time. And so as we look for the blessings, not in the future, but right now, I claim that they are evident, and that all is well with us and those we love. I give this prayer now with gratitude into the divine law, knowing it is done. And so it is. Amen. And so, we've got Bodhi here today. Yeah. For those of you who are here for the first time, and I noticed some roses already wandering around, Bodie is our artistic director and just gets all of this fabulous, fabulous music for us the whole year. And we have him today and his music. So please welcome Bodie.
I decided I would do a little medley of traditional melodies. It's that kind of day.
How very sweet for the end of the year, huh? I'm Michael Hart, and I'm your practitioner of the morning. And I'm here to begin this morning, this final Sunday of our year, with gratitude. And I was hearing something on NPR that made me think about how even a bah humbug tradition is still a tradition. And this time of year is just like the law. Even when we claim a negative, the law says yes. So I was thinking this time of year is a time to be attentive to and grateful for all the traditions and rituals that move us through this season, solstice, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's, whatever it is. And one of the traditions that we have is to offer a Christmas dinner to those who might want to join with this community on Christmas Day. And this year, the Austins once again offered their home for that. And so I thought we might give them a great thank you for having done that. I only had 6 people at my house, and I know what that took. So to open their doors to an unlimited number is really something. And an unlimited number of people always means that there are a few things left behind. And so they want me to let you know that they have a little box of lost and found items from Christmas Day. Okay. So, and our children today, their lesson is going to be about giving. So I wanted you to I invite you to think of a quality that you would like to give, either to yourself or to someone close to you. And just turn to someone in the audience or a couple of people in the audience, and you can think of a quality that you would like more of or that you think they might like more of, and just give it to them. Just name that one word, that quality that you might give your neighbor or someone around you in the room. And so in this moment of giving, we send the children off to learn more about it for themselves, with our blessings and our gift to them, and as they are a gift to us. So my most exciting announcement this morning is that winter classes are beginning. It's not quite January, but I think we're almost beginning to get to where we can think about what next in our lives. So we have 4 of our most popular courses coming up. We have Foundations, which is the very beginning of the certificated course track. We have Spiritual Practices for Daily Living, which is, or Treatment and Meditation, for which Foundations is a prerequisite. And then we have Prosperity Plus with Reverend Karyl, who's going to talk to us about that in a minute. And we have a Change course. So we have all of those available for sign-ups now. They're all starting in late January or February on the education table over here. And Karyl's going to speak to us for a moment about Prosperity Plus.
This is the 4th time, I believe, I will be teaching Prosperity Plus. And how many of you have taken it? Oh, and how many of you loved it? Good. It is, it's a class that links your desire with the creative engine of the universe. It's not just about being prosperous in money. It is about getting your life rolling so that you can use not just the energy that flows through you, but the energy everywhere to move you into the manifestation of your dreams. You link up your desire with the creative energy of God. And it is exciting. I mean, this little book that I created of mine, that came out of me teaching Prosperity Plus. So join me, and it's a very inexpensive class initially. You just pay for the materials, which is like $57, with an agreement to practice some spiritual commitments for 10 weeks. That's it. It's an experiment. Join me.
And the first Wednesday of the new year, which is this coming Wednesday, we're going to be doing a Visioning for Your Spiritual Legacy, brought to you by the Fund Development Team. So this is an opportunity to practice the technique of visiting and to find your special legacy in this life. And on the 12th of January, which is Sunday after service, Reverend Catherine Revoire is going to be giving her play shop, Planting Your Seeds, to set your intentions for the new year. And sign-ups for that are on the events table just over there. And also, today and tomorrow are the last days for the early bird rate for registration for our annual convention, our gathering in Vancouver, which is going to be in February. So if you're interested in going to that convention, speak to Karyl after service today. And finally, Reverend Karyl is going to talk to us about something else.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about the altar, first of all, because Kathy Fowler did this altar, and it has a name. We have a rotation, a wonderful group of people that do the altar on a rotating basis, but this one has a name, and this is the name of this altar is Calling All Angels, and it's dedicated to Malini. They are very, very dear friends, and so Malini, having left her form, is now available for all of us to talk to ask guidance from. You know, she's kind of like a Science of Mind saint for us now. And Kathy said, you know, your mom, meaning my mom, and my mom, meaning her mom, have gone on to become angels. And so this is for Malini as well. So thank you so much. And along this line, I would like to say something on Herb's behalf. Malini's husband, Herb, is with us today. I've spoken with him several times through the last week. And what he would like is for you to give him your love as only each one of you can do, in sort of silent hugs, meaning don't say today or next Sunday, Herb, how are you doing? You know, which is our love, that we want to reach out and say, you know, it's okay, I know you miss Malini, I miss Malini, how are you doing? And it's exhausting for people who have lost a loved one to the transition called death to say it over and over and over again. So don't ask. If he wants to talk to you about Malini, he'll bring it up. But boy, does he want your love. So. Okay, and welcome to those of you that are here for the first time or back after a long time. And if you didn't get where to sign up for all of our classes, this is the education table right here before you get to anything else, like coffee or bookstore. Sign up. Okay, moving into the last talk of 2012. Are we ready to start writing 2013 on our checks? Those of us that still write checks. And so we have been having this wonderful theme. I've enjoyed this theme all year, called Tools for Transformation. And each week we have a word that's written on, all of the leaves are filled in. And so let me just tell you that this is a very, very special Sunday because it is the 53rd Sunday of 2012. Can you imagine that? Now this is really, I never thought about this. I never counted the Sundays before I had 52 leaves on the tree. So here's our 53rd leaf right here, kind of blowing in the wind. 365 divided by 7 is 52 plus 1. So we always have the first day and the last day of the year being the same weekday. This, of course, being leap year, we have an extra Sunday and an extra Monday. But usually it's just one extra day. So this is a really special day, being kind of like extra and kind of time out of time. And I love that when we get something that just makes me feel like I have a little more time. Any of the rest of you feel that way? And when we have when we have a milestone in our lives, like every holiday is a milestone, we feel the passage of time. And then, of course, when we say goodbye to someone through the transition known as death, that's another big old milestone. And it makes the passage of time for our own life very present for us, you know? And so we feel that we have a past, present, and future. But when we look to the infinite, we believe and teach that God's time is eternity. It's forever. There's no beginning and no end. There's no alpha or omega. It exists always and forever. And that's why we say we're immortal, we're eternal. We have this precious time in our physical bodies, but we have other adventures. We have an infinite number of adventures. So time is very special on this particular earth plane because the way it works with our days and nights and years all has to do with this little ball that rotates and revolves. Rotates and revolves around the sun. That's what makes time in this dimension. And so we think about our time, and although we share eternity with the Infinite One, and that's what we actually feel into in a great meditation, is we feel into that timeless realm. We are amazing creatures in the eternal realm and the temporal realm because we have a foot in both. We are, or actually we have both feet in both. We are all the way and purely eternal and immortal. And in this realm, in this form of us, we have a finite number of sunrises. They can be counted. For most of us, there's a lot of them, but they can be counted. And so when we look at the continuum of our life, and it's great to do this on this extra Sunday, looking at the continuum of our life, we've lived through our past. How many of you have the past on your left? Okay, so I'll do it for you. We have our, any of you have the past on your right? Okay, yeah, and some, yeah, you don't know. Okay, so for those of you that have it on the left, we have the past that we've lived through. We have the present that we have right now. And then we have this part over here that we call the future, and it seems to have a whole lot of potential to for us to correct what we don't like or to improve what we don't like. It feels malleable for us. But in truth, the only time that we really have to live is right here, right now, this moment, this now, this experience, this present breath, this present heartbeat, this now, this now, this now. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, in the textbook writes this, the Science of Mind textbook: the past, the present, and the future are one unbroken stream of good. The spirit knows no past and is not affected by the belief in any. The past is swallowed up in the victory of a perfect present, which is filled with love and protection. There is no future to be afraid of and no past to bring discord into the present. So that's the teaching. And then, of course, Eckhart Tolle made a whole career out of saying the power of now. And yet, a lot of our spiritual work seems to have to do with molding the future. All these great words, intention, goals, anticipation, plans, we've taken workshops with these how many times? And we will again with the Visioning Legacy and with Catherine Revoir's Play Shop. Even spiritual mind treatment is inspired because we want something to come that we don't seem to have right now. But as much as we look to the future for how to change that, there might be a slightly more effective way of doing spiritual work when we really only have the present. We do not have access to the future. Right now, we have thoughts and feelings and experiences in the present. We can't have thoughts and feelings and experiences in the future. It's impossible. So, to confound this a little more even, I'm going to read to you from C.S. Lewis's book, The Screw Tape Letters. So I have to explain this a little bit. This is a book about a major demon who is writing letters to his nephew, Wormwood, about how to get souls. So let me just break off right here and say this is not our teaching. This is satire. Okay? It will point out the lessons that we all need to take a look at, but sometimes looking at the opposite side makes it clear for us, okay? So as I read this, Science of Mind does not teach that there are demons trying to get you. But here's what. If we do nothing, the laziness of doing nothing makes it feel like we are at the beck and call of ideas and beliefs and impulses and influences that don't feel so good. It's not that there's a force for evil out there, but by doing nothing, by just being lazy, it's kind of like entropy. If you don't do anything to your refrigerator ever, it will go green and furry. That's the same with our mind. It will go green and furry if we don't do anything. Okay, so this is Screw Tape, the big demon, writing to little Wormwood. My dear Wormwood, the humans live in time. The enemy, so editorially, the enemy, you know, is God. Okay. Our enemy destines them to eternity. He therefore, I believe, wants them to attend chiefly to two things: to eternity itself and to the point of time which they call the present. Our business is to get them away from the eternal and from the present. With this view, we sometimes tempt a human to live in the past. It is far better, however, to make them live in the future, so that thought about the future inflames hopes and fears. In a word, the future is, of all things, the least like eternity. To be sure, the enemy wants men to think of the future too, just so much as is necessary for now planning. The acts of justice or charity, which will probably be their duty tomorrow. The duty of planning the morrow's work is today's duty, though its material is borrowed from the future. The duty, like all duties, is in the present now. This is straw splitting. He does not want men to give the future their hearts, to place their treasure in it. We do. His ideal is a man who, having worked all day for the good of posterity, washes his mind of the whole subject, commits the issue to heaven, and returns at once to the patience or gratitude demanded by the moment that is passing over him. But we want a man hag-ridden by the future. We want a whole race perpetually in pursuit of the rainbow's end, never honest, nor kind, nor happy now, but always using as mere fuel wherewith to heap the altar of the future every real gift which is offered them in the present. Did you get that? This is what we don't want to do. We want to be in that present moment of kindness and joy and the perception of what is real for us right here and right now. So the eternity part of that is what we experience in meditation, as I said, the timeless realm. And the duty, I love that part. The work of planning tomorrow's work is today's duty. That's all we should have concern with of tomorrow. Just what do I need to put in place today so tomorrow can be fabulous? That's all we do about tomorrow. So how to do that? How to do that when our mind naturally goes over here and hopes and fears. Just like it said, we are in hope and fear about the future. Well, you know, one of my meditation teachers told me that meditating on a mantra is like house training a puppy. When a thought goes through your mind, you just bring your mind back to the mantra. You just bring your mind back to the mantra. Just like you don't hit the puppy when he wheezes on the carpet, you just bring him back to the paper. And you bring him back to the paper. And you bring him back to the paper, or you put him outside, or whatever you do, but you just do it and do it and do it and do it until there is a habit. That's essentially what we do too. We create a new habit of living in the present. And when we are out here hoping and fearing all the time, we just bring our mind back to the present. So I'm always, you know, I say this all the time. You hear it all the time, and you keep coming to hear it. And when I stray, someone says to me, I want a good science of mind talk, Karyl. And this is the good science of mind talk. Change your thinking, change your life. I say it over and over for myself and for you, and I've got a new way of talking about it. Melanie, my daughter, got Freakonomics for Christmas. We're going to talk about thinking in relation to Freakonomics. This is a great book. So this is what they say. Incentives are the cornerstone of modern life, and understanding them or often ferreting them out is the key to solving just about any riddle, from violent crime to sports cheating to online dating. And I would add to right thinking. So it further in says economics is at root the study of incentives, how people get what they want. Okay, so I have an incentive for you. The incentive is a great future. See, I'm sort of planting it out there. A great future, but primarily a great present. And if you have a great present, it will ensure a great future. So the great present is for you to nurture the thoughts in the present that are life-giving, blessing-oriented, looking to the good, and cultivating that habit of seeing what is wonderful, looking for the blessing. You know, the last time I saw Malini, we were talking about how grateful she was. And she said to me, there is really just love. You know, there she was, lying in her bed, and Herb was at her side, and her children were downstairs, and I was there looking at her, and she was looking at me. And Herb had just said to her, isn't it a blessing that you can die at home? That's what he said. And then the next thing she said to me is, there's really just love. That whole piece is looking at the blessing. In a situation where many would find it sad, that was both people looking for the blessing. So you can try it right now. You can definitely do this at home. Try it right now. What is a look around you. What is a blessing? People are looking at Bodhi, people are looking at the altar, people are hugging each other. We have blessings right now. And this is bringing the puppy of your mind back to the paper. That's exactly what you're doing. Now, you know, actually, when you think back over your life at your really, really high moments, what you would call, I mean, the things that really stand out as the highs of your whole life, those are the times that you have been absolutely fully in the present. There are some times when people play music together that it is that you enter eternity, right? You enter eternity, and you don't exactly know what you're playing, but the harmonies are so fabulous, and everybody's doing the same thing together, and time goes away, and you are in heaven. That's a high. You know, I took a class once where we all kind of shared what our high moments were, and this one guy said, I'll never forget it. He said, I was riding this really great Bronco, and he threw me and then didn't step on me. Now picture this. Picture you lying in the sand and a ton of horse flesh over you with big old hooves, and they miss you. Can you imagine everything kind of goes slow motion and you aren't killed? That would be a high. And you can imagine this. This is being smack in the present moment. So the converse is also true. We are shaped by positive incentives and negative incentives. Back to Freakonomics. We all learn to respond to incentives, negative and positive, from the outset of life. If you toddle over to the stove and touch it, you burn a finger. But if you bring home straight A's from school, you get a new bike. If you are spotted picking your nose in class, you get ridiculed. But if you make the basketball team, you move up the social ladder. If you break curfew, you get grounded. But if you ace your SATs, you get to go to a good college. If you flunk out of law school, you have to go to work at your father's insurance company. But if you perform so well that a rival company comes calling, you become a vice president, no longer have to work for your father. So, you get it. Negative and positive incentives. This is the negative incentive. If you keep looking for problems about what is wrong, your present and your future will be impoverished. They will be riddled and ridden by problems. One of my favorite quotes, this is my book of favorite quotes by Albert Einstein, we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we use to create them. So, if you think negative thoughts in the present, this future over here will be much like that. If you think positive thoughts in the present, the future over here will be much like that. So here, I want to say that sometimes when I talk to people and they say to me, oh, you just don't know about my life. And I actually do this too. I came in here and I talked to Bodhi this morning about how unbelievably busy my life has been and how stressed it's been. And I drove down to Santa Barbara on Friday, and here I am doing it again, and back on Saturday to get Melanie college furniture and blah, blah, blah. When we do that and we have that spiral downward for people saying, oh, I know, and here's my example, and da-da-da-da, we find companionship in awfulizing. Now, if that's the best you can do, keep coming here. Because what happens if you come here, at least our practitioners, and many people who haven't studied practitioner training yet also are very good at this, of turning around, gently turning around ideas. I just thought of three of none of these practitioners that I think are here today, but I have examples, and those of us that know these people will have heard this too. Galen says, when you bring her something that's blah, 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 awful, she says, things always work out. That's her word. Things are always work out. And Jane Jennings says, well, sometimes it's hard, but I see in you God's perfection. Has she said that to you? I see in you God's perfection. And then Frank says, well, let's just pray into that situation. Anybody that's ever had Frank in a class has heard that. And this is what we learn how to do with each other in classes, is to gently move us out of the viewing of problems into the viewing of blessings. And so to change that habit of seeing, we simply must choose again and again. Here's a great, great idea from Henry David Thoreau. As a single footstep will not make a path on the earth, so a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind. To make a deep and physical path, we walk again and again. To make a deep mental path, we must think over and over and over the kinds of thoughts we wish to dominate our lives. So, that's why you keep coming back here. That's why you keep bringing the puppy of your mind back to the paper. And this is actually the gospel of science of mind. You know, the gospel means good news. The good news is in the aphorism that is right. It's in the magazine. It's everywhere. It says, change your thinking, change your life. So you want this future stuff over here to change? You change your thinking right now in the present. So coming up to the conclusion of this talk and this sweet little book that we've been doing book studies with all year, the December book study is available to you over there at the education table. I want to read to you the very last blessing that the author Angelus Arian gives to us in the book. May we continue to contribute to this deep well of wisdom through living a grateful life, remaining connected to sources of inspiration, challenge, and surprise, and continue to be touched and moved by life's miracles. And may we share with those around us the unlimited healing power of gratitude and its ability to bring out and sustain the good, the true, and the beautiful within all human beings. What a great wish, and it's my wish for us too. So coming to the conclusion of the talk, and the last talk of 2012 actually, it's pretty simple. You look for the blessings in the present moment, and you do it over and over and over again. So we're here on this extra Sunday with 2012 almost over and 2013 not here, reminding us that we're in this present moment, this gift of infinite privilege, and our participation in it is to look for the blessings. So as we go into the inner work, I think it is very, very important for us to have conscious endings. Because when we just let something go without honoring it, we seem to have energy still attached. So I want to help us all let go of 2012. So join me, if you would, on the inside. And if you would, in our little blessing ritual of 2012, remember back to January, the last cold time, and remember that whatever was going on for you in the winter, remember as the seasons started to change and the camellias came out and then the tulips, and our altars started to have a lot more color on them because of the fresh flowers. And occasionally we'd forget our coat, and it was just fine. And remember the changing arc of the sun as the sun moved from the southern hemisphere, the southern horizon, to higher and higher and higher in the sky. And we passed Easter and moved fully into spring. And then all of a sudden the school year was over, our classes were over, and our children's or grandchildren's classes were over. And it became the hot time of the year, the summer. And remembering if we took a trip or had a vacation in the summer. And all the time here, remembering special relationships or even sadness. Remembering the service that you did in this community. And remembering Malini's untiring service in Heart to Heart and all of the people that she served. And moving past the summer now, and even though the days started getting shorter after the summer solstice, the heat remained all the way into October. And then it started to change. And we remember this Thanksgiving. We remember this winter solstice. We remember this Christmas. We remember the tasks that we completed and the ones that we are leaving behind. And any regret that we have in this moment, we put that in the basket of the past. If we made a mistake, great, it's in the past. If we had hurt feelings, great, it's in the past. Finishing as much as we can in this moment. And in deep, deep, deep gratitude for the love we shared, the experiences that we shared, even the countless committee meetings and everybody that met about everything in this community. It's in the past. And packaging it all up as a gift that we can be grateful for in memory, we begin to sever the ties with 2012. We begin to see it in the perspective of it being done and over, and all of the blessings that were given to us held in our heart. Perfectly fine to ponder the blessings and leave the rest behind. Freeing ourselves. What a perfect day on this extra Sunday to free ourselves from the past and wait, just wait in this present moment for the inspiration of how we are to live our life and our light in 2013 to be given to us. We don't have to rush into it. We're right here, right now, on this extra day, giving thanks for the past and completing it, and sitting in availability for God, knowing that we are available for what is to be our next year. Right now, concerned with the blessing of the next breath, now and now and now. Blessed be.
Extra Sunday, I never thought about it. sun would smell, know that it's probably magic.
So now is time for our offering, and the last opportunity that you have to give this year, so make it a good one. And whatever it is that you intend to give, thank you. Because it's more than the money that you give. You give your presence, your sweetheart, your service, and your consciousness. So if you would just hang on, Tom, just a sec. Hold your gift next to your heart and realize that this is an incomparable opportunity to infuse the symbol of money that we give into this community with our vision for the highest and greatest expression of this place. Our vision being a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. So infusing that money with love and knowing that it will bless this community and beyond, we give our thanks in advance, and so it is. With the ushers, please receive the gifts. All the good that it will do right here and beyond. And so it is. Amen. So we're about ready for the last prayer of 2012. And so let me just say that if you're new, the Welcome Newcomers table is right over there. I would love to meet you and introduce you to folks here. There's things to sign up for on the events table, and here's the education table, and the bookstore is there to browse. And then Bodie has some flyers on his table here, and then back around behind the not functioning fireplace, we have coffee and goodies. So, and come next year. So, Joyce is going to pray us out.
So I invite you to put your feet on the floor, to give a good shoulder roll, to take a deep breath, to notice any part of your body where you're feeling tension, and breathe into that place. Breathe in the love of Spirit that is here with us. Breathe in the joy of the teachings of this philosophy. Breathe in the recognition of Spirit in our life in every moment, in every breath. And I give thanks for all of this and so much more. I give thanks for that presence of Spirit in Bodhi whistling that reminds me of childhood and happy times. The sense of freedom to just be, to dream. So I invite each of us to continue as we go out into the world this week and into the new year, breathing into any tightness, releasing the fears that may come up, the hurts that come to teach us. And in releasing those, open to the love. Open to the gifts of life. Open to so many possibilities, so many opportunities to share and give the love we receive, to pass it on to others. So I give thanks for the inner and the outer opportunities. And I bless each of us on our way. And so it is.
So now I ask all of you to stand for our affirmation and closing song. So right up here, my time is God's time. My perfect future, with its joys, challenges, and divine support, is assured in all its fullness. It is assured forever and ever. Blessed be. Happy New